What are the attributes or what qualities you look for in a physician or a doctor?
The physician should be approachable, like you should be able to communicate with him easily.
Yes, good communication skills. Yes.
Good listening skills
Yes.
so that they understand the patient's condition.
Yes, very good. A doctor should be a very good listener.
Make feel them that they will keep the confidential things.
Yes. You must make feel the patient that the doctor is trusty and trustworthy, and the patient can tell you his history, symptoms, complain openly. He or she can discuss with the doctor. Okay, what else?
Comforting in times of grief.
Yes, you are empathizing and sympathizing with the patient, right? Then,
Ma'am, honesty and don't giving fake hopes.
yes, honesty. The doctor should be always honest with his patients. Okay. And anything else anybody wants to add?
Ma'am, the physician must be passionate about the practices, what he does.
Yes. So the physician should be passionate about the profession. So that is the physician should always abide by the principles, rules, regulations, and he should be passionate about treating the patients, curing the patients of the disease. Okay, communicating with the patients, right? That is passionate about the profession. Okay.
Ma'am, the physician should talk freely with the patient so they can have a good conversation.
Yes, that is the physician should have a very good communication skill. Okay, now because nowadays a lot of complications in a doctor-patient relationship is because of lack of communication skills. Okay, so you must imbibe all these qualities from the very beginning. It is not that during your MBBS you're only studying, examining patients, and not that after you start your practice or after you set up a OPD or OT, then you start developing communication skills or listening skills. It's not like that. It is from day one, along with your curriculum, these soft skills you have to imbibe in yourself to be a good doctor. A good doctor is not all about delivering a proper care or correct care or making a correct diagnosis, but it is all about even proper honesty, integrity, maintaining confidentiality. That is you're making the patient feel that the doctor is trustworthy. Okay, so today I'll be talking about honesty, integrity, and confidentiality. So for a doctor, this is the noblest profession, and for a doctor, the life of a human or the human life is the utmost is of prime importance. Okay, so human life is it's a most important part of a physician's life. It is irrespective of the age, irrespective of the sex, irrespective of the nationality, irrespective of the race, irrespective of the religion. The human life is of prime importance, and these are the fundamental values in medicine which you are going to stick to. So these are the principles on which the doctor or all the actions of the physician or a doctor lie. That is preservation of life, relief of suffering, cure of disease, care for the person, prevention of disease, and promotion of health. So these are the fundamental values in medicine, and all our actions and principles should be in aiming or maintaining these fundamental values. Okay, so this was a survey, that is a Delphi survey was conducted, and to study what are the key attributes of a doctor, that is from a patient's perspective. So recognition of patient care as a primary concern of doctor is ranked first, and being honest, trustworthy, and acting with integrity is ranked second. Okay, the third comes good communication and learning skills. Then understanding one's own limits. I am a doctor, I can cure everything. That may not be possible all the times. So we must know our limits, and what are the limits of others also we must understand. Then pro-social attitude, that is being empathetic and non-judgmental. Ability to cope with ambiguity, change, complexity, uncertainty. Commitment to lifelong learning, competence, performance, development. Compassion, then motivation and commitment, and ability to be a team player. Okay, so recognition of patient care as the primary concern is ranked number 1. So most of the patients want this in their doctors. Second one is they want their doctors to be honest, trustworthy, and the doctor should be a person of integrity, right? Then, so you all have grown listening to stories of honesty. Okay, since your childhood, you have been listening to several stories of honesty, like the honest woodcutter. All of you have heard of this story.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Honesty
Yes,
is
ma'am.
yes. So it is for all professions, and you have been growing with it. Okay. So, but for our profession, it is a core value. For doctors, honesty and integrity, it is a core value, right? So being truthful is honesty. Integrity is a step ahead. Not only truthful in speech or verbal, but integrity is being or adhering to the moral principles or principles of medicine, and at any cost you're able to defend it and stick to those principles. Okay, whenever you, because physician is continuously under pressure, even under pressure, or whenever the doctor is being challenged, in spite of that, the doctor or physician is adhering or is sticking to those principles of the profession, that is integrity. That is, the doctor is never easily gives up the principles of the profession, that is integrity. Whenever the person is being challenged or under pressure, still the doctor is maintaining the principles of the profession, that is integrity. And honesty and integrity are the most important to build trust between a doctor and a patient. Okay. Then there are examples when the dishonest or actions of medical professionals have made irreparable damage to the profession as well as endangered patient safety. So I would like to share a few with you. One is Tuskegee syphilis experiment. How many of you all have read or heard of this Tuskegee syphilis experiment? Anybody has heard or read of this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Right. So this was around 1932. So between 1932 and 1972, in the US, series of experiments were conducted among African American men. That is, about 399 men were subjected to an experiment to study the natural course of the disease syphilis. Syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease, and they wanted to study what will be the course, how the disease progresses, how it ends, what will happen, how what will be the presentations, what is its effect on different organs. So in 1932, this study was started, and it continued up to 1972 for almost around 40 years. That too in African American men or black men, and they were all farmers and illiterate. They were not told, they were not disclosed what they were suffering from or what treatment they were receiving. They were just told that they were being treated for bad blood. So this was a study, and none of the physicians had the intention to cure them or treat them. They just wanted to study the progress of the disease, how the disease progresses, and once the patient dies, autopsy was conducted to study what happens. So they wanted to study because in white men there were more of nervous system symptoms were there, and in black men a lot of cardiovascular symptoms were there. And for 40 years this experiment continued until the media exposed this. Okay, so until the media exposed this about this study, till then it was continuing, and it was having some profound damage to the survivors, to the children, and to the family. In 1997, the then US president publicly apologized to the people for this experiment because it was conducted by US Public Health Service, right? So this is when the profession has some of the professionals have been dishonest, have not acted upon with integrity. Okay, so if the professionals would have told that they would not participate in the study, this would not have happened. Even now, there are the family or their kids and kin who still have the ill effects of this Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Okay, this was one example. The second one was Nazi war crimes. So during World War II, the Jewish and the Russian those which were caught in the World War II, these men were subjected to inhuman experiments. So they were like the time they were studying the effects of human responses to high altitude. What happens if the person is at high altitude? What happens when the person is exposed to extreme temperature, that is freezing temperatures and very high temperatures. So those prisoners of war were subjected to extreme freezing temperature, that too naked with the thermometer, and they wanted to see at what temperature freezing starts, how it progresses, and how the person dies. Okay, so these are examples when the ethics have not been followed. The medical professional the integrity was not maintained, and this has caused damage to the profession as well as the persons who have been involved in all this. Okay, so later on there were a lot of ethical rules that were made, what are the codes of conduct, what is medical ethics, then Declaration of Helsinki has come, then Nuremberg Code has come, what are the Declaration of Geneva has come, what are the ethical principles on which a doctor should rely on. All this has come after all these things. And the latest one was Andrew Wakefield. He was a former surgeon and a researcher. So what he did was he produced some fake results. Andrew Wakefield, that is the word. There are certain, even in the net, you can see that Andrew Wakefield has fooled the world. That is, he produced some fake results claiming that the MMR vaccine causes autism in children or some bowel disease in children. So these were all fake results, and even now this happened in UK. Even now there are hundreds or thousands of children who has not been vaccinated because of this fake results of this research, and because of the scare. The parents were scared that their children might suffer from autism or any other bowel disease if they take the MMR vaccine. But it was a fake study which was done, and the results were fake. Okay. So these are some of the examples when the medical profession suffers irreparable damage, when the integrity and honesty of medical professionals is challenged. So integrity is when the doctor sticks on to the principles of the profession even under extreme pressure, or when the doctor has been challenged. Okay, clear? Right. So this was regarding honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity, not only the treatment, honesty and integrity even in not subjecting the patients to undue investigations. Even that is part of honesty and integrity. That some of the investigation only until and unless it is required. We are not supposed to prescribe lot of investigations to the patient okay. So this is all about integrity. So you will be studying in your later, this is just a sensitization. What is integrity and honesty? You will come across several examples where a physician has to demonstrate honesty and integrity throughout the professional career. Okay. Then the next important thing is confidentiality. So whenever a patient comes to a doctor, it is understood, it is implicit that the patient wants whatever information he or she has confided with the doctor is maintaining the confidentiality of that information. Okay, this is the right of the patient. Okay, this confidentiality is also called as professional secrecy or informational privacy. Okay, suppose I go to a doctor, it is understood that whatever information I am sharing with the doctor out of a professional relationship, the doctor has to keep that information. He should not share, he or she should not share the information with others unless and until it is a requirement. Even if it is a requirement, it is a doctor requires to share the information of the patient. The patient consent has to be taken. Okay, the patient will decide when, how much, and what information will be shared by the doctor with others. Okay, it is entirely the right of the patient, okay, that the doctor maintains the confidentiality of the information that he or she has shared during a professional relationship. Okay, then even the Hippocratic oath, okay, that we take, okay, also tells us of the maintenance of confidentiality. Okay, all that may come to my knowledge in the exercise of my profession or in daily commerce with me, which ought not be spread abroad, I will keep secret and will never reveal. Okay, so Hippocratic oath, one of the part of Hippocratic oath tells us of confidentiality, that I will never ever share the information of my patient with anybody else. Okay, then the Declaration of Geneva also suggests this, that is, I will respect the secrets which are confided in me even after the patient has died. Okay, so Declaration of Geneva was the World Medical Association assembly, where the principles on which the medical profession lies were outlined. So one of the principle is of confidentiality. Even after the patient has died, it is the duty and responsibility of a physician to maintain confidentiality of the patient. Okay, now what constitutes breach in confidentiality? Like gossiping between doctors or the doctor and others. Okay, doctors are discussing about some patient, gossiping. That constitutes breach in confidentiality. Leaving notes on the desk where it is accessible to others, not directly involved in patient care. Okay, so the patient notes is lying here and there. Anybody who is passing by can go through the notes. So that is breach in confidentiality. Then press and employers, representatives, they come to the physician and pose as if they are a near and dear of the patient and take the information. Again, that is breach in confidentiality. Until the doctor takes the consent from the patient, the doctor is not supposed to share the information regarding the patient no matter what. Okay, talks over telephone. Okay, so all these constitute breach in confidentiality. Right, now there are certain conditions where we are supposed to share the information regarding the patient. Okay, exceptions to confidentiality. Okay, these are certain exceptions where it is our duty as a physician to share some of the information regarding patient to the concerned authorities. The first one is notifiable infectious diseases. If the person is having some infectious disease which is comes under the list of notifiable diseases, it has to be notified to the designated authority. Okay, what is the example for this notifiable infectious disease? Now it is going on
COVID-19.
Yes, COVID-19. Yes, if the person is suffering from COVID-19, it is a public health risk. Okay, the people around the patient also are exposed to the risk of getting the infection. Therefore, whenever the doctor comes across the patient with COVID-19, that information is shared to the respective authorities. Okay, this is an exception to the maintenance of confidentiality. Second one, infectious diseases where the person with the disease is a risk to the community. For example, a typhoid carrier who is a food handler. Okay, so typhoid carriers are those who will not be having the symptoms of the disease, but they are potentially they can transmit the disease to others. Like food handlers suffering from typhoid, you can't keep quiet. You have to notify concerned authorities. Then third one is risk to public safety. a driver who is colorblind, who can't follow the traffic rules and regulations, can't follow the information that has been displayed because of the color blindness, or because of the traffic lights, the person can't follow the rules and regulations. That time you have to notify the concerned authorities. Fourth one is injury resulting from a suspected criminal act. You have a patient, you suspect that somebody has instilled a criminal act on him or her. You have to immediately inform the police about it. You can't maintain the confidentiality in this condition. Okay. Then disclosure necessitated in the court. Suppose you are called in the court of law for giving witness. You are going as a witness there, or you are asked to disclose. That time again you can't maintain the confidentiality of the patient. So these are some of the examples where these are exception where the maintenance of confidentiality is a lesser priority. The public health is a greater priority here. Okay. Then, suppose during the course of my journey, I come across some very rare cases or very interesting cases. Okay. So that time I try to publish the information of those patients in journals. Okay. So we have the scope to publish the rare findings or interesting cases, but the details of the patient should not be revealed. The confidentiality has to be maintained. Okay. Then insurance companies, then prospective employers, okay, and others, they also ask for personal information. Insurance companies ask for information. Then I want to go for a job in one company, and that company sends me for a health examination, and they want to know the health status of the employee. Again, you can share the information only after taking consent, written consent from the person concerned. Okay. Then confidentiality of all medical records, whatever case sheets have been made regarding the details of the patient, those medical records can't be shared with anybody. Okay. Confidentiality of those medical records has to be maintained. Okay. Then you want to discuss the case with your seniors or with your peers. Even then, the confidentiality of the patient has to be maintained. You ensure that the team members or your higher seniors, they are also maintaining the confidentiality of the patient. Okay. So this was regarding confidentiality. Okay. So the trust of the patient, if you want to earn, then the behavior should be, the doctor should be honest, the integrity has to be maintained, and the trust has to be earned by virtue of our behavior and the principles what we follow. Okay. Anything anybody wants to know? Anybody, anything you want to know? You're free to ask me. Okay. So this is like a foundation. So you'll be knowing more and more about honesty, integrity, confidentiality as you begin your journey. You'll be learning from your seniors, you'll be learning from the mentors, you'll be learning from your interaction with the patients. Okay. It is a lifelong learning process. We keep improving on our actions and behavior and principles. Okay. Right. Anything anybody wants to ask? If anybody has to ask something, you can unmute yourself and ask me.
Yeah. Ma'am, will you show that Hippocrates slide again?
Okay.
Okay.
All that come to my knowledge in the exercise of my profession or in daily commerce with me, which ought not be spread abroad. Abroad means not that meaning. Abroad is you are not going to share it with others. I will keep secret and will never reveal. Okay. This is one of the components in the Hippocratic Oath. So once you finish your MBBS, all of us will be taking this Hippocratic Oath, right? And according to Geneva Declaration, even after the death of the patient, a physician is not supposed to reveal information regarding the patient. Okay. Anything else you want to know? Okay, then shall I leave?
Thank you.
Ma'am.
All the best for your
Thank you,
journey.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.